The Ballon d'Or hasn't been this open in such a long time. I mean, take a look at the shortlist. We are seeing some very interesting names. And what that goes to show is that our superstars of today aren't quite the same superstars as 5-10 years ago. It might only take a good World Cup year and a good domestic season for you to be nominated for the Ballon d'Or. But what we haven't seen is someone make that big transfer and immediately become a contender for Ballon d'Or. Well, not since Jude Bellingham. So who's that next Jude Bellingham? Who can make that next big move, become the talisman of their team, and instantly become one of the contenders for the Ballon d'Or? Let's check it out. Alright, so to give you guys context to explain exactly how insane this feat is, let's go through the Ballon d'Or winners that have won for the past 20 years. Now, we are going to exclude Messi and Ronaldo because different players, can't really compare them here. But if we look at the last one, Benzema, he spent 13 years at Real Madrid before he won a Ballon d'Or. Modric spent 6 years at Real Madrid before he won a Ballon d'Or. Kaká, 4 years at AC Milan before he won the Ballon d'Or. Cannavaro, 2 years, but he won the World Cup as well. Of the last 20 years, the player who won it in the shortest amount of time with their respective club, Ronaldinho, 2 years with Barcelona, which makes sense, it's Ronaldinho. And then after that, Shevchenko spent 5 years at AC Milan before he won it himself. It's a crazy feat, it's not simple to do. And really, the only way you can get considered by being at your club for such a short amount of period, you got to have a good international season as well. So if we were to consider players that could potentially do what Jude did last season, what's the criteria? Well, first, they need to be in a position to have huge international success. So players like Haaland, it's actually going to be quite difficult for them. The next thing, they need to move to a club of relevance. So for my fellow Man United fans, I don't think we're producing any Ballon d'Or nominees anytime soon. So the natural follow-up question is, what are the teams with gaping holes? Well, for me, there are two clubs that come to mind. Liverpool, who eventually have to replace Salah, and Barcelona, who have to replace an aging Lewandowski. Salah has been the frontman for this Liverpool attack for years now, and is probably one of the biggest reasons for Liverpool's most successful period in recent history. So someone's going to have to come in and make a similar sort of impact immediately. And because Barca don't know how to complete a balance sheet, it leaves Nico Williams open in the market. In terms of young football talents, there aren't many as complete as Nico Williams. He's two-footed, he's pacey, he's a genuine chance creator. There's not too many clubs in the world that wouldn't take him as he is right now. If we look at what he did last season, 5 goals, 14 assists at Bilbao, and he's only 22, so that production is quite good. But if he wants to be a Ballon d'Or winner, that production's got to go up even more. And if you put him in a team as cohesive as this Liverpool team, I mean, they flow so well. I don't think he's too far away from producing at a club like this. Could you imagine a team with Luis Diaz on one side and Nico Williams on the other, just taking on their defenders and beating them with ease? Not to mention a midfield with McAllister and Szoboszlai just putting in balls wherever they feel. It wouldn't take all that much for that team, that Liverpool team, to go on and win the lot, again, like they did a few years ago. And if they do, maybe Nico Williams does have a chance to really be a contender for that Ballon d'Or. Alright, so we've looked at Liverpool. What about Barca? Well, we already mentioned, Barca needs a striker. And really, there aren't too many strikers in world football at the moment that spring to mind, that make you excited. Well, there is one, and his name is Isak. Imagine Isak at Barca. I mean, there aren't too many strikers in world football right now that are just silky on the ball. Isak just fits that mold so perfectly. You can put him into this Barca offense and he's cooking straight away. Now, we did mention one of the criteria is international success. Maybe international success just looks differently. What if Sweden just go on this Cinderella run? They get to the quarters. They may even get it to the semis. Somehow. It's a miracle. If Isak is one of those people that gets them there, then why can't he win the Ballon d'Or? He's had a out of nowhere sort of story with Sweden, and he can be the guy driving that. And then you have any sort of successful season with Barca, there's absolutely no reason why Isak can't be a Ballon d'Or contender in that Barca squad. Now, mind you, I did make a joke about Barca and balance sheets. They're going to have to offload a lot of people. They're going to have to get rid of Frankie de Jong. They're going to have to get rid of, God, Ferran Torres. Please, let that guy go. But if you do make those two transfers and you get in Alexander Isak, man, that might be a special transfer. I know what you're thinking. When you think of Ballon d'Or favourites, you think Haaland, you think Mbappe, you think of Jude Bellingham. And you're right, they are the favourites. But if we really think about it, are they really that far from the rest of the pack? I don't really think so. If we asked ourselves 2 years ago, we would have thought Kylian Mbappe would have been so far away at this point, but he really isn't. He's still kind of just trudging along at the front. Maybe it only takes a season where all three of these guys that I've mentioned have an okay, mediocre season, and some guy that maybe we haven't considered has a spectacular one, takes their club to the promised land, the Champions League, takes their country to the promised land, the World Cup, the Copa America, the Euros, whatever, then are there really any favourites for the Ballon d'Or, or is it like it was this year? Is it wide open? You guys let me know. How do I sign this off?
Jorginho should never have finished third for the Ballon d'Or. I don't care what you say, that should never have happened. Never in my life.
Yeah.